corner of Sunset. Glaze is open every day from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you're interested in large orders, please call them at 702-246-2888. Follow Glaze on Facebook and Instagram, where they're showing off all their delicious treats. And check them out at glazedonutslv.com.
Experience the Artisan Hotel's themed suites, restaurant, bar, pool, and complimentary valet. During the week, the Artisan is a quiet Las Vegas retreat that's great for travelers and locals. The weekend is all about nonstop partying and the award-winning Artisan nightlife. All rooms include free gym access and Wi-Fi. The Artisan Hotel is centrally located between the Strip and downtown Las Vegas. Book your stay at artisanhotel.com. The Artisan Hotel, your unique Las Vegas boutique hotel.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
It's time for the most interactive radio program in Las Vegas. It's not Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro. Brian will talk sports, politics, entertainment, and anything that matters to you. Feel free to call Brian at 702-221-7283.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Now, Pushing the Limits, here's Brian Shapiro.
All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing well. We pretty much made it through the week. Broadcasting everywhere, not just AML, KSHP 1400, but of course our PTL fan page on YouTube, PTL fan page on Facebook, my official Twitter account, which is Pushing Limits LV, video and audio for your pleasure. And we got some great guests lined up for you today. We're going to have some fun, talk about some serious topics, as we always do, some fun topics. Coming up in hour number 2, Timothy Treffinger will be joining us in the studio. He's running against Steve Wolfson for district attorney here in Clark County. He'll be joined also by Mac Miller, who is always quite the character. He's run for office here many a times, juiced in with the Republican Party. I want to ask him, why is he voting for Republicans top to bottom? Why is he voting for election deniers? We will get into it, I am sure. That'll be coming up in hour number 2. We're going to give you an update. The tragic Uvalde shooting, where all those kids and some adults lost their lives at the hands of a madman, and certainly some fault has to be put towards the way the police department handled it or lack thereof. And now there's some new 911 tapes. They are difficult to listen to, but they are important to listen to. Some 911 calls from the young children that were in the classroom. I'm going to be playing you audio from one young child who luckily survived. She's a hero. She took the cell phone of her teacher who was shot and killed, called 911, and while all these 911 calls were happening, police were right outside the door, a few feet out the door, doing nothing for upwards of close to 45 minutes. It is unbelievable. Difficult to hear, but important to hear the failures of those in Uvalde. So we'll play that coming up at the bottom of the hour. Been talking a lot about Kyrie Irving. A lot of others have over the course of the last week. We know the movie that he promoted. You put something on social media, and you retweet something, and you tell somebody to listen to something, and you have a big platform. That is exactly what that is. Kyrie Irving can disagree until the cows come home. He promoted a documentary that is an anti-Semitic documentary with horrible, horrible tropes when it comes to the Jewish people. Terrible, right? Just terrible. So what has transpired over the course of the last week? What has happened over the course of the last week? Well, Kyrie Irving took a lot of flack, rightfully so, and he's had multiple opportunities to apologize for what he's done. He refused. Now, you might say to yourself, well, wait a second, Brian, what are you talking about? Well, even after all the flack he took and he was accused of being an anti-Semite, all that stuff happened. This was the first press conference he did. This was several days ago. And in this first press conference, he got into it with a reporter. And I played this before, and I want to play it again. He got into it with a reporter and refused to apologize for what he did. He doubled down on it. Have a listen to this exchange. All right. So what you see there is Kyrie argumentative, not apologizing, not sympathetic to people of the Jewish faith. None of that stuff. No apologies, no remorse. And the Brooklyn Nets organization gave him every opportunity to own what he did and to apologize. He refused to do that. And it gets worse because he holds another press conference, media availability, whatever you want to call it. And in the second media avail that he does, he has an opportunity to say whether he's anti-Semitic or not. Somebody asked the question, and in that question, it's basically, are you anti-Semitic? Yes or no? Listen to this exchange. This was a few days ago, and listen to the way he answers this question. It's very simple. Are you anti-Semitic? No. That's how you answer that question. Anybody who is not anti-Semitic, who doesn't hate people of the Jewish faith, would answer the question that way. Hey, Brian, are you anti-Semitic? No, I'm not. I never would be. That's not how I was raised. Kyrie Irving decides not to answer the question, gives some other weird answer. He refuses to answer the question whether he's anti-Semitic or not. He refuses to apologize. So the Brooklyn Nets have now decided to actually act more than just we're disappointed. They've acted. The Nets organization said such failure to disavow anti-Semitism when given a clear opportunity to do so is deeply disturbing, is against the values of our organization, and constitutes conduct detrimental to the team. Accordingly, we are of the view that he is currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. They since suspended him at a minimum of 5 games without pay. Only after Kyrie Irving had to pay for what he did financially is then when he decided to apologize. So this apology means absolutely nothing to me because he's not sorry for what he did. He's only sorry that what he did caused him to lose money. 5 games worth of money, which is a lot of money. This is what Kyrie Irving said on his Instagram account just a few hours after. How convenient, huh? A few hours after his team decided to suspend him without pay. To all Jewish families and communities that are hurt and affected from my post, I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain, and I apologize. I initially reacted out of emotion to being unjustly labeled anti-Semitic instead of focusing on the healing process of my Jewish brothers and sisters that were hurt from the hateful remarks made in the documentary. I want to clarify any confusion on where I stand fighting against anti-Semitism by apologizing for posting the documentary without context and factual explanation outlining the specific beliefs in the documentary I agreed with and disagreed with. I had no intentions to disrespect any Jewish cultural history regarding the Holocaust or perpetuate any hate. I'm learning from this unfortunate event and hope we can find understanding between us. What do you mean you're learning? What is there to learn? In the documentary that you posted, it says that all Jews are demons. What is there to learn about a statement like that? You don't repost a movie like that unless you're a complete moron. Clearly, in this situation, I believe Kyrie Irving is. Irving also wrote that the movie contains some false anti-Semitic statements. Okay, when you say that Jews are all demons, that's not a false statement. That is blatant anti-Semitism, and that is hate speech. That's exactly what that is. There are some people in this world that are backing Kyrie Irving. There are some people in this world that are defending Kyrie Irving. Let me be very clear. If you are one of those people that is defending Kyrie Irving, you are no better than him, and you are an anti-Semitic fool. Now, tons of people have come forward, and I give them credit. A lot of former players, a lot of current players denouncing what Kyrie Irving has said, denouncing what he retweeted. denouncing his reaction to all this. And I think that's great. And I give them all a tremendous amount of credit. I think that's wonderful. But there's no place for this in society. There is absolutely no place for this in the world, quite frankly. And Kyrie Irving is an extremely ignorant individual, but make no mistake about it. He only apologized because he had to. Otherwise, he would continue to be suspended. He only apologized because it was hurting him financially. If he actually was sorry for what he did, and if he actually understood what he did, he would have apologized in that first press conference. He had multiple opportunities to apologize. And he refused to do so because this is who Kyrie Irving is. He is anti-Semitic. He is ignorant. And he doesn't understand what hate speech is. He certainly doesn't understand how dangerous it is what he did, because it gives others out there an opportunity to say, oh, yeah, Kyrie's right. Kyrie's right. Anti-Semitism. Yeah, hate the Jews. Kyrie's right. Like the people in LA in an overpass that said Kanye was right. It gives them a platform with their white supremacy and their hatred to feel comfortable in their hatred. I do believe Donald Trump did a little bit of that. I really do believe that. So where are we now? There are tons of people that are Jewish in the communities surrounding where the Brooklyn Nets play. If I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, or if I am in any part of this organization, I do not want Kyrie Irving representing my city. I don't want Kyrie Irving representing the team that I support. I don't know what team out there would want Kyrie Irving at this point. It would be only for basketball purposes. But you look at his history, and now I'm speaking from just a basketball perspective on how problematic Kyrie Irving is. Where's Mike Krzyzewski, by the way? This guy that coached him. Why isn't Mike Krzyzewski calling this out? Where are the people that have been around Kyrie Irving calling this out? That's what I want to know. The silence is deafening, in my opinion. Everywhere Kyrie Irving has gone, he's been detrimental. He was detrimental to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was detrimental to the Boston Celtics, and obviously detrimental to the Brooklyn Nets. This is irreparable. This is not something that, in my opinion, you can come back from, because it's the way he handled it. If the next day Kyrie Irving said, you know what, I didn't watch the documentary, I should not have reposted that. Obviously, there's a lot of anti-Semitism in there and hatred, and I apologize for doing that. I have a bigger responsibility to make sure the stuff that I post is not this nonsense. I apologize to the Jewish community. I apologize to my organization. Then we wouldn't be talking about it today. Sure, the day after I'd say Kyrie is very stupid and he did something very dumb, but at least he owned it and he apologized for it. What made this thing, in my opinion, 10 times worse is the way he handled it, or the lack thereof. And ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt says ADL is not accepting Kyrie Irving's $500,000 donation. He said, by the way, that's the Anti-Defamation League. If you didn't know, that's what ADL stands for. He said, quote, "We were optimistic, but after watching the debacle of a press conference, it's clear that Kyrie feels no accountability for his actions. ADL cannot in good conscience accept." ADL's Jonathan Greenblatt, who made that statement. By the way, I applaud him for doing so. I would still take the money to help people, because that's a lot of money that could help a lot of people. But I understand why he didn't. I get that. Adam Silver's also made similar comments about how disappointed he was. Now, I went after Adam Silver, I'll be honest, the other day. I believe Adam Silver certainly had a conversation with Brooklyn Nets ownership. They gave him the opportunity to apologize and own what he did. He didn't. And I think they probably had another conversation and said, all right, you should suspend him. The NBA doesn't have to. Why don't you take care of it? And they did. And I give the Brooklyn Nets credit for doing so. The owner has been out front with this thing the whole time. It's not his fault. It's not the organization's fault. They didn't do it. This is Kyrie Irving's fault. And by the way, I'm also going to give a little bit of it to anybody who is selling this documentary, because it's disgusting. Amazon is. Fair to go after anybody who promotes this kind of documentary. It's not a movie. It's a documentary. I'll go after anybody. But Kyrie Irving is one of the most popular basketball players on the planet. He's one of the most recognizable athletes on the planet. He has a huge platform, which makes this so much worse. and it normalizes this. And this comes just a week after the whole Kanye West controversy. What is going on? Some people are outraged. I applaud Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Amari Stoudemire, who happens to actually be half Jewish. A lot of the players, mostly former players, by the way, but a lot of the where's LeBron James on this? Last I checked, I didn't see LeBron James comment on this. Why? LeBron James will be the first person to comment, and rightfully so, when there's an injustice when it comes to somebody who is black. Where is he on this issue? Because in my personal opinion, he can't just speak out when it comes to just one religion or one race. Speak out on all of it. LeBron James has not done that. That's where listen, you could be saying to yourself, well, LeBron can't speak out on everything. This is one of the best players in the NBA making anti-Semitic or reposting anti-Semitic stuff. LeBron James should be out in the open here. I'm sorry. I'm going to criticize LeBron James and any player who hasn't spoken out about this. Silence is deafening. LeBron James, if you want to be taken seriously about your thoughts on police brutality when it comes to black people, I am all for it, my friend, and I am with you and I support you. But where are you when it comes to these issues? When it comes to Jewish people, where are you? I say that to everybody out there. Where are you? I don't believe Kyrie Irving is sorry for what he did, because I personally believe Kyrie Irving hates Jewish people. I really believe that. I believe Kyrie Irving hates Jewish people. Kyrie Irving is also an Alex Jones fan. And while he will say he is not and he doesn't support Alex Jones, you're retweeting his stuff because you are ignorant. And just like the many other people out there that are followers of Alex Jones, put Kyrie Irving in that category, you're idiots. There's nothing funny about Alex Jones. There's nothing entertaining about Alex Jones. Nothing funny about it. This is what Kevin Durant said about this whole situation. Quote, I'm not here to judge somebody or talk down on the life or how they feel their views. I just didn't like anything that went on. I feel like it was all unnecessary. I felt like we could have just been playing basketball and kept quiet as an organization. That's not enough, Kevin. I got to say, I'm very disappointed in Kevin Durant. This is not about basketball. What is wrong with some of these current players? This is not a basketball issue. This is an issue that is far more important than winning or losing basketball games. Your teammate decided to put forth something that is anti-Semitic, and you're saying you're not going to judge your teammate? Why can't Kevin Durant just get in front of a microphone and say, my teammate was wrong? There's no place for this. It's an anti-Semitic documentary. Why couldn't Kevin Durant say that? What is wrong with some of these athletes? Why is it the former athletes that have to make the statements, like the Charles Barkleys and the Shaquille O'Neals and the Amari Stoudemires? Why can't Kevin Durant get in front of a microphone and say, my teammate was wrong? I lose a lot of respect for people like Kevin Durant. I know Kevin Durant didn't do it himself. I get that. But when you say you're not going to judge your teammate, well, let me ask Kevin Durant a question. If one of your white teammates said the N-word, would that have been your response? Oh, I'm not going to judge my teammate for saying the N-word. Of course not. What if a movie was put forth saying that slavery was a choice? It was a documentary, and one of your white teammates promoted that documentary. Would Kevin Durant be handling this the same way? Would he get up there in front of a microphone and say, oh, you know what? I don't want to judge my teammate. I wish we could just play basketball. Of course he wouldn't respond that way. I am so disappointed in Kevin Durant by his response there. So disappointed. People need to be leaders, not just on the court, but off the court. And the response or lack thereof by many of the current NBA players is ridiculous. And I'm going to throw LeBron James in there. I am putting Kevin Durant in there and many others. It can't happen. If you call yourself a champion for equal rights and you're part of the Black Lives Matter movement, I have no problem with that at all. In fact, I support you 100%. But don't tell me you're all in with the Black Lives Matter movement, but when one of your teammates does this anti-Semitic, disgusting film, and you're silent on it, to me, you don't have a leg to stand on anymore, and I don't want to hear you talk about issues facing the black community. I just don't, because you have no more credibility. None. Zero. Kevin Durant did clarify his statements. And he said some people are confused. He said, I don't condone hate speech or anti-Semitism. I'm about spreading love always. Our game unites people, and I want to make sure that's at the forefront. That's not enough clarification. You're not saying anything about your teammate. You're saying nothing about Kyrie Irving. That's not enough. And I am disgusted by this. I am disgusted by these current players not speaking out. Now, maybe what I am saying you disagree with. But I'll open up the phone line, 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, is 702-221-7283. That's 221-SAVE. Your thoughts on Kyrie Irving, your thoughts on what he did, your thoughts on his response. Again, that number to call is 702-221-7283. All right, let's go to D. D is up next on Pushing the Limits. Hello, D.
D, how you doing, my man?
Good.
I have one question. Are you Jewish by faith?
Yes, yes, I am, sir.
Okay, so that explains why you're so upset.
Hold on, D. Hold on. D, hang on a second. Hold on, D.
Yes.
I'm going to give you plenty of time. I promise you, D, but I need to stop you there. There are plenty of people in this country that are very upset that are not Jewish, so your statement doesn't make any sense at all. Did you see Charles Barkley?
Okay.
Did you see Shaquille O'Neal?
Okay.
Did you see Amari Stoudemire?
What's that? They don't have nothing to do with me. They don't speak for me.
They're not Jewish. No, Charles Barkley's not Jewish, sir. D, are you still there?
I'm here, but what I'm asking you is that they don't speak for me.
Okay.
They don't speak for me.
All right, so what's your opinion? Tell me your opinion.
If there was somebody to call them the N-word or something, sometimes if you don't have something to say that's positive or you don't know what to say, sometimes it's better not to say something at all. What
did I say that you disagree with, sir?
I disagree with you talking about LeBron James, and if somebody was to call him the N-word, as far as I'm concerned, I hear Jewish people calling us the N-words all the time,
sir,
and nobody say nothing to them.
Sir, I don't.
Yes.
I speak for myself too, and guess what, sir?
For myself,
Sir, I've never used the N-word before.
Okay,
I don't condone it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So what's your point? What did I say that you disagree with?
Do you speak for the whole Jewish community, though?
I speak for myself always, sir, and I can tell you I haven't spoken to one reasonable person that agrees with what Kyrie Irving did. Do you agree with what Kyrie Irving did, sir?
All I'm saying is whatever happened to free speech.
Sir, I don't think you understand what free speech is. That pertains to the government.
Absolutely.
No, you don't.
Absolutely.
Sir, pot him down. This dummy doesn't understand what free speech is. Sir, let me explain it to you and let a Jewish person educate you, okay? I know you probably hate that, but let me educate you, sir. I potted you down now. Freedom of speech pertains to the government. It doesn't pertain to private entities. I know this might be hard for you to understand, but when you work for a private business and you say something detrimental and that business feels like it can hurt their product, they have a right to suspend you. They have a right to fire you. The word freedom of speech only pertains to the government. What part of that do you not understand, sir? And then he hangs up. What a dummy. What a dummy. Another Kyrie Irving dummy that just calls into this show. People don't understand what freedom of speech is. That gentleman is obviously extremely ignorant. He doesn't understand, just like many others don't understand. It's interesting, right? When someone says something that is anti-Semitic, and somebody might agree with the anti-Semitism, their response is, he has freedom of speech. He can say whatever he wants. Well, yeah. As pertaining to the government, we have something called freedom of speech, dummy. Example, you can go on a public sidewalk and hold up a sign that I hate Jews. Nobody can arrest you. The government can't do anything about it. That's what freedom of speech is. However, sir, if that person works for a business, let's just say, I don't know. Let's just say they work for a casino. They're an executive at a casino. That casino gets word of what their employee is doing. They have a right to fire that individual or suspend that individual in the case of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, if you don't understand what I just said, then you're an extremely stupid person, sir, D. And I would imagine you probably are, because you're defending Kyrie Irving, you're defending his actions, and then you're making gross generalizations that a bunch of Jewish people use the N-word. Well, I can tell you something, sir. Not the people that I hang out with. I've never uttered that word in my life, and I never would because I wasn't raised that way. But something tells me that you not only utter that word, but you probably utter derogatory terms called towards Jewish people as well. And that's why you're defending Kyrie Irving. And unfortunately, there's a lot of D's out there in society that have no problem with what Kyrie Irving did. Well, let me tell you something, sir. The good people in this country do. The decent human beings in this country that don't judge people based on religion or race do have a problem with what Kyrie Irving has done. And that is why basically every defamation league in this country has come out and spoken out about it. Good people in this country of all shapes and sizes and colors and religions have denounced what Kyrie Irving has done. You probably defend Kanye West, and you probably marginalize the Holocaust. And I feel bad for you, sir. I really do. I feel bad for you. And you don't even know the basic definition of what freedom of speech is. Because if you did, you wouldn't bring it up in this circumstance. Because your words have consequences. The government cannot interfere in your speech. But you also can't yell fire in a crowded theater. You can't incite violence. You can be anti-Semitic if you'd like, but your words have consequences, meaning the business that you work for can fire you, and it's not against the law for them to do so because it's a private business. If you don't understand that, sir, you're a waste of my time, and quite frankly, you're not smart enough to even call into this show. Number to call, 702-221-7283. Again, that number, 221-7283, if you want to be a part of the conversation. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Uvalde, Texas. 911 calls have been released. And in those 911 calls, you hear from some young children that called 911, heroic phone calls. We're going to play that for you and new information coming out of Uvalde next. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
The best choice for convenience, comfort, and value, My Place hotels are ideal for both short-term and long-term travelers. The rooms at My Place features pillow-top mattresses, microfiber bedding, and a variety of soft and firm pillows. All extended stay rooms offer their own kitchen, which includes a full-size refrigerator and a cooktop. On-site laundry facilities are also available for extended stays at pet-friendly My Place hotels. Book your stays online at myplacehotels.com. My Place Hotels, St. George and West Jordan, Utah. Make My Place your place.
All right, welcome back to this Pushing the Limits on a Friday. So glad that you can join us. We got some great guests coming up top of the hour. If you're living under a rock, you know this election is next week, midterms. And we have a candidate coming in studio who's running for district attorney against Steve Wolf. His name is Tiffany Trepp. Did I say Tiffany? His name's not Tiffany. His last name is Timothy. But I'll just make sure I'll ask when he comes in studio. Timothy Treffinger will be joining us, running against Steve Wilson, and Mac Miller, who's run for office plenty of times in this state, always an outspoken Republican. He's going to be joining me in the studio as well, so look forward to that. I want to tell you guys about another event that I'm looking forward to. You know, Sapphire does great things for charity, and this is no different. Prostate Foundation at sapphireprostatefoundation.org. It's their 15th annual Ping Pong Palooza. It is going to be Tuesday, November 15th. You're invited. It's a $200 donation per team. Includes a drink and a buffet. And here's the best part: 100% of the money they make here is going toward the Prostate Foundation. Please check it out. You can register your team. It's a team of 4, mandatory 1 woman per team. SapphireProstateFoundation.org/ping pong, Tuesday, November 15th. Please check it out. I will be there with my team, and I'll be ready to win. Put it that way. I'm going to be wearing my ping pong outfit, and I'm going to be ready to go. Talk a lot about, sadly, mass shootings in this country. And we talk a lot about school shootings and gun violence. And now we're learning 4 Uvalde victims were still alive when they were pulled from the classroom May 24th, raising questions on whether any of them could have survived by a faster response. And now the investigation and more information is coming out. We are learning that some of those young children called 911 from that classroom. Some of them didn't make it. Some of them did. And this phone call might be hard to listen to, but this is an exclusive report from CNN's Shimon Prokupecz, who is a fantastic reporter, by the way. He's done such a good job out there in Uvalde. So much respect for him. So you're going to hear audio. You're going to hear Shimon, the reporter. This is a couple minutes of his report. This is going to be audio of a 10-year-old who was in that classroom. Her name is Chloe Torres, and she survived. And in this 911 call, you hear her pleading to police officers to act with composure, with grace, while trying to keep her classmates calm. And this audio was released with permission from this young girl's family. Keep in mind, this call was made while dozens of officers were outside the classroom. Have a listen to this report. Listening to that audio is heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, whatever word you want to use. Now we're learning some of those kids were alive when they left the classroom. Officers were waiting outside that classroom in upwards of 45 minutes. There is no question that when those first officers responded, that if they engaged the suspect, many lives would have been saved. Officers could have been killed. There's no question about that. But lives would have been saved. There's been little to no accountability in Uvalde. And all I hear from people on the far right, more guns, more guns. Well, we had plenty of guns there. The good guys had the guns. They didn't really do much, did they? We're learning that teacher, Eva Morales, who called her husband after being shot, died in an ambulance in the Robb Elementary parking lot. That's new information. One child died in Hondo on the way to a San Antonio hospital. 2 children died at Uvalde Memorial Hospital. Every second counts. And what we're learning is these people died either en route to the hospital, in the hospital, or in the parking lot. You telling me those lives couldn't have been saved if those officers engaged the suspect before that 45-minute mark, which is abundantly disgusting? And it goes to gun control. It goes to police training. This country's not going to get any better unless we have transparency. But it seems like in Uvalde, they don't want any transparency. They don't want accountability. Firing a police chief is not enough. Firing some police officers is not enough. Why? Because they'll get a job somewhere else. And no policies will change. Nothing will change in this country. You know, we talk a lot about a lot of the issues facing this country and politically charged topics like abortion, gas prices, inflation. I still don't hear a lot about guns. Make no mistake about it. The reason why we haven't had reasonable gun laws on the books or new laws that would make it more difficult for crazy people to get their hands on guns is not because of Democrats. It's not because of independents. It's because of Republicans. Very few things have been able to have been passed recently in the past 10, 15 years because of Republicans. And now the parents of Uvalde are marching today to the Texas Capitol on the way to the governor's mansion to demand reform on gun laws. Attendees determined to demand action, with a heartbreaking tribute to all those that were gone. And, we've seen a lot of these marches. And I give all these people credit for doing so, but it hasn't really done any good, has it? Because Republicans have a firm stance on their beliefs when it comes to guns. They don't want red flag laws on the books. They don't want a ban on assault weapons. Many of these people are in the back pockets of the NRA. They really don't want to do anything except arm more people with guns. Listen to Ted Cruz speak about gun control. It happened in his own state. Listen to these Republicans like Marco Rubio talk about gun control. It's really disgusting. They have no answers. They have no solutions. Ted Cruz says, well, that back door should have been locked. Let's arm our kindergarten teachers. Yeah, that's really going to do us good. I've talked about gun control on this show constantly. And I'll talk about it again here. And if you have any solutions or your thoughts on Uvalde or gun control in general, I'll take your phone calls. The number is 702-221-7283. And again, if you want to be a part of the program, I'd love to hear from you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. I'd like to think that I have some solutions that won't solve every gun issue in this country. Nothing will solve every act of gun violence in this country, but I have a few things and a few ideas that would certainly help, starting with a ban on assault weapons. In our society, there's no reason why you should have an AR-15. There's no reason why you should have these assault weapons unless you're a member of our brave military or in law enforcement. You don't need to defend yourself with an AR-15. You don't need to defend yourself with the same types of weapons that killed all those people on October 1. There's just no reason for it. By the way, you also don't need it for hunting. Makes absolutely no sense. We had an assault weapons ban. Gun violence went down. And then it expired because Republicans allowed it to expire. And with that, more people expired. And gun violence went back up again. If you don't believe me, you can look that up yourself. It works. Doesn't solve every in this country. It's not going to solve every act of gun violence, but it helps. So that's number one. We need an assault weapons ban. Number two, we need to raise the age from 18 to 21 to purchase weapons. Why? The argument I hear is, well, Brian, if you're in the military at 18, you could have a gun. Yeah, you know the big difference is they're trained how to use the weapons. You can be an 18-year-old in society today and buy a bunch of assault weapons and thousands of rounds of ammunition. You don't have to have any training on how to use that weapon. Yet when you get your driver's license for the first time, why is it that you have to learn how to drive a car? Why don't we just let anybody drive a car without a driver's license then? It makes no sense to me. So that's not a fair argument. Yes, I think the age should be raised from 18 to 21. Sadly, we're seeing a lot of these 18-year-olds committing these mass shootings. That's number two. Number three, I believe we need more red flag laws on the books. I am not saying that you should call an ex-girlfriend or call the police and say, hey, this person threatened me to kill me, take their guns away. Okay, no problem, sir. No, that's not what I'm saying. This is a case-by-case basis. The problem here is that on some of these red flag laws it takes days, weeks, and sometimes months. If somebody leaves you a voicemail and says, I'm going to kill you when I come home, that person not only should be arrested, but that person should not be allowed to buy a weapon until there is a therapist or psychologist or somebody that is a professional that deems them okay to be out there in society and own a gun. Now, in some states, they have these types of laws, but not in every state. And there are too many loopholes. You want to talk about loopholes in this country? You can still go to a gun show in some states in this country and purchase a gun, and they could perform a background check, but they'll give you the gun before the background check has been completed. That is a loophole. That can't happen. So if you speak to somebody that is passionate about their guns, ask them this question. Because I have these conversations all the time, quite frankly. And the question that I ask them is pretty standard. And that question that I ask them is this. Okay, you're passionate about your guns, no problem. But if you're passionate about your guns, are you just as passionate as ending gun violence in this country? And if you are, then please tell me what you plan to do about it. What do you think we should do to end the gun? And don't tell me arm more teachers. By the way, not all the gun violence in this country happens in schools. Some does, sadly. Malls, all over the place. Public places, all over the place. Arming our teachers is not going to do any good. Hardening our schools and locking doors is not going to do any good. Somebody that just killed their grandmother in Uvalde, I don't think a locked door is a deterrent. They will shoot the door down and go in there if they need to, especially if they have an assault weapon. So that is, I want to know, if you're that passionate about your guns, what are your solutions to gun violence? Most Republicans have no answers. I speak to many Democrats out there that have solutions that they believe will work. Republicans don't. More guns. And again, many of them are in the back pockets of the NRA. Just look it up. The Marco Rubios and the Ted Cruzes of the world, they're in the back pockets of the NRA. Governor Abbott, or as I like to call him, Governor Abhole, he doesn't care about your kids. He cares about himself and himself only. We had the worst mass shooting in the history of this country in our backyard right here in Las Vegas. I can't believe this many years have gone by, and we just had the 5-year anniversary where we lost so many innocent people. And why? Yes, we had a madman. That madman was able to purchase guns legally, but he didn't purchase pistols. He didn't have a bunch of knives with him. He had assault weapons. Brian, you don't know what an assault weapon is. You don't understand. Okay. These mass shootings that are occurring, are they using pistols? What type of guns are they using? Why is it usually always assault weapons? I'll tell you why. Because any logical person with an IQ over 20 would tell you these guns were designed for one purpose and one purpose only, to kill as many people as possible in a short period of time. Now, we can go back to Uvalde, and we could talk about the cowards that called themselves police officers that day. And we can talk about how those officers are responsible for some of those lives lost. There's no question about it because of their cowardness. That can't happen, right? We had one officer here October 1. Remember the October 1 shooting? He froze for 8 minutes in the hallway. That guy might have lost his life if he engaged the suspect. Very possible. But whatever happened to protecting and serving? That officer froze for 8 minutes while people were being sprayed with bullets on the ground. That officer is a coward. And I want to know why he's able to work again. That's what I want to know. I'll tell you one thing, that's not Governor Sisolak's fault. So we can't have cowards in law enforcement, right? It's a very difficult job. They risk their lives every day, but we can't have cowards. And unfortunately, many of the Republicans that are in office today are cowards. They cowered up to Donald Trump. They cowered up to the base. They lie about elections, and they're not willing to do anything when it comes to gun control in this country. And until we have better people in office, it's going to continue. I mean, even locally, do you think if you vote for Adam Laxalt, you think he's going to do something about gun control? Or Sigal Chattah? Or Jim Marchant? Or Joe Lombardo? Do you really think these people want to do anything when it comes to gun control? Of course they don't. Of course they don't. They'll say they care, but they don't. Every time there's a mass shooting, you'll hear thoughts and prayers. But what do they really do? What do they really do? And then Nicholas Cruz, I hate to even mention his name, the madman animal murderer that was responsible for the Parkland shooting. What are we doing in society when you can kill 17 kids and you don't get the death penalty? What does it take? What do you have to kill? 50 kids? That was premeditated murder. Again, another assault weapon. He was enjoying killing all these people, executing them. And the jury found that the mitigating factors were too much to execute him, give him the death penalty. So they gave him life in prison without the opportunity of parole. Meanwhile, you have 17 kids that are 6 feet underneath the ground, and they get no justice. Why do we even have the death penalty on the books? Why? What is the reasoning for even having the death penalty on the books? I don't understand. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, maybe you could help me with that. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I really don't. And now we're learning Cruz's attorney, Tamara Curtis, is under investigation for flipping off a camera at trial. The Florida State Bar Association is probing one of the Parkland killer's attorneys who made this obscene gesture. And I'm looking at the picture right now, and I saw it, and I saw some of the families talk a little bit about it. The behavior of some of Cruz's attorneys are despicable, and they're disgusting. And I understand attorneys have a job to do, right? Their job is to defend their client to the best of their ability. But you can also show human decency. You could also be fair and show human decency. Did these attorneys ever talk to the family members who lost loved ones and say, I'm sorry for your loss? Did they ever do that? That attorney should be disbarred. Flipping somebody off, whether it be a cameraman or a family or whoever it is, especially in a case like this where you know all the cameras are on you and you do something like that, it's despicable. It's disgusting. It's unwarranted. And it can't happen. So here we are now. In the year 2022, here we are, right? And in this day and age that we are living in right now, we have a lot of problems. We have a lot of issues. We have a lot of things that need to, I guess, be rectified in this country. Gun control, of course, being one of them. And I like to vote for candidates that have solutions to problems, real solutions. All I hear lately are Republicans complaining about Democrats, but have a listen to their real message. Listen to their messaging and find out how many actual solutions there are. Look at these campaign ads, and I'll attack both sides on this one. And these campaign ads where they target other politicians, Do you hear any solutions? They'll say, oh, I'm going to help the economy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Okay, well, how? Why don't you tell me how you're going to do that? It's easy to say you're going to do something when there's no accountability with the things you say. You say you're going to help communities. It's funny. Do you hear any Republicans today that have campaign ads? Do you hear any of them today putting gun control and how they're going to lower, the gun violence? No, you don't. There's a reason for that, because they have no solutions to the real problems facing this country. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by two very special guests in the studio. Timothy Treffinger is running for office against Steve Wolfson. We'll talk to him coming up next. Maybe he has some solutions to some of the issues with guns facing this country. I'll certainly ask him about that. Mac Miller is going to be joining us in studio as well, so I know it's going to be a fun hour. It'll certainly be entertaining, that's for sure. We'll get into some good debate. I know we will. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Shopping is always easy with the Radio Shopping Show. Whether it's shopping during any one of our live shows right here on AM 1400 or listening live on the KSHP app, you can always call in at 702-221-7283 to pick up great deals with your favorite host. Or shop 24/7 at kshp.com. Go to kshp.com and select Shopper's Guide to browse hundreds of businesses featured on the show. Place your order online and we'll have it shipped right to your front door. With so many possibilities, it's hard not to shop.
As a 3-time international award-winning restaurant, Joe's New York Pizza uses only the freshest and best available ingredients. From giant slices of hand-tossed pie to calzone, strombolis, fingers, and wings, Joe's serves all your favorites. Stop in for a slice at one of their 2 Las Vegas locations at Paradise and Harmon or South Las Vegas Boulevard, or you can check out their menu at joesnewyorkpizzalv.com.
Look, it's impossible for the average person to find a great attorney out there. There's so much misinformation. Now, let me introduce you to former Chief Deputy District Attorney Thomas Moskal. He was Las Vegas's top DUI prosecutor for years. He prosecuted the most high-profile DUI cases in Clark County. No one knows more about DUI law in Nevada. Just Google it. If you get charged with DUI, whether it's a misdemeanor or even more importantly, a felony, you need Thomas Moskal representing you. His relationships with the prosecutors and judges and his knowledge of DUI law to work for you. So give him a call now or text him at 702-848-5555. It's your life and liberty that's at stake. Don't wait. Call now. That number again, 702-848-5555.
This announcement is brought to you by the Armed Forces Chamber, Nevada's largest and oldest chamber of commerce, formed to serve armed forces members. Your opinion matters. Your vote counts. You can make history. Vote Patsy Brown as the first female to be public administrator. Patsy Brown is a contract lawyer. Patsy Brown is a federal contractor with 15 years of experience. Patsy Brown is a business owner with 25 years of experience. Patsy Brown is a philanthropist. Patsy Brown is a Rotarian. Patsy Brown is endorsed by attorneys, business owners, community leaders, legislators, pastors, seniors, and veterans. Vote Patsy Brown from October 22nd through November 4th and November 8th. Learn more at votepatsybrown.com. Again, that's votepatsybrown.com. Paid for by friends who vote Patsy Brown.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Whether you're a corporate executive, on a family vacation, or just passing through, St. George Inn & Suites will meet your specific needs. It's conveniently located near restaurants, shopping, and movie theaters. St. George Inn & Suites offers a variety of room types, 2 fabulous pools and jacuzzis, a fitness center, a free full hot buffet breakfast, and laundry facilities. To make your booking, call 435-673-6661 or book online at stgeorgeinnhotel.com. You need to stop in Southern Utah? Make that stop at St. George Inn & Suites.
STN Sports is the only sports betting app you need this season. STN Sports has it all. In-play betting, mobile parlay cards, the Play Plus card to fund and withdraw from anywhere in Nevada, and the latest lines on every game. STN Sports even lets you earn rewards on every bet. Safe and easy betting from your phone or tablet. Go to stationcasinosports.com or sign up at any Station Casino, Fiesta Wildfire, or the El Cortez. Details at the sportsbooks.
A great time! Your entertainment destination, the South Point, invites you to experience the ultimate great time under one roof. Bowling, dancing, a live show, a movie, delicious dining, and one of South Point's 11 restaurants. So much to see, so much to do. You won't know where to start first. This week, make it a South Point week and discover for yourself why the South Point is your entertainment destination for a great time.
Open Road Radio, Monday nights at 6 on 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas. Online at kshp.com.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Friday. So glad you could join us. Hope everybody has some fun plans for the weekend. Or maybe everyone's a little partied out from Halloween weekend. I don't know. I'm going to be going to an exhibit tonight. King Tut exhibit. That's right. Grand opening of a new exhibit on the Strip. Looking forward to that. Having some dinner with friends tomorrow. And Sunday, well, come on. It's NFL. You know, watching the Raiders and the Jaguars. The Raiders coming off of such a wonderful performance last week, losing 24-0. So we'll see if the Raiders are able to bounce back. But I would like to think that they are, but I don't know. We'll have to see about that. I want to tell you guys about my favorite gaming bar in town, which is Jackson's Bar and Grill. They got some fantastic November gaming promotions. Every Sunday, you get $50 free play after 200 points. Every Tuesday and Thursday, they're doing a free wine giveaway. Earn 200 points on a slot machine. You get a mystery bottle of wine to take home. Some restrictions do apply. And every Vegas Golden Knights game, geez, they won again. These Vegas Golden Knights, they're unbelievable. What a great start to the season. All TVs and sound and Pass the Puck went up to $100 in free play per period just for playing. Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones, my favorite gaming bar in town. All right, as you know, we got the elections right around the corner, right? We got a few days. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty time. I just voted the other day, and I was harassed coming outside the voting center. So I shared that story. I don't think I need to share it again, but nobody should ever have to deal with what I had to deal with over there. But, you know, we have a lot of different, what I would consider very important races. One, of course, just for district attorney, and anybody who knows me and knows me well knows that I'm not a very big Steve Wolfson fan. He's not very transparent. I don't believe he's a very honest man, and he takes care of his own. But if you don't know Steve Wolfson, he's not going to take care of you. That's my personal opinion when it comes to Steve Wolfson. Multiple attempts to have him come on the show. I have not heard back from him. In fact, I've been trying to interview him for years, and he said, I don't know, this is Steve Wolfson for you. But the guy who is running against him is sitting in studio right now. He's been here before. His name is Timothy Traffinger, and he joins us right now. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Yeah,
Great.
appreciate that. So what I just said about Steve Wolfson, agree, disagree?
I agree. He's not very transparent. I think there's certainly evidence out there that he plays favorites, and that's the worst thing you can do as a prosecutor. It should be equal justice for everybody.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree. What are your biggest complaints, criticisms when it comes to Steve Wolfson, besides not being transparent? Like, what else would you say?
Inequality of justice, I think that's a big issue. He's not really willing to delve into some of these law enforcement shootings, and I believe me, I back the blue, but if a cop screws up, you do need to look into that. It does need to be something that's looked into. I don't feel they've done enough of that. You also have a lot of investigations done by Metro that are incredibly good work gets done, and yet charges don't happen, and I think that's a problem. It just it reduces confidence in law enforcement. I tend to agree with you there. There are problems facing this nation, facing this country. You heard me just talking about gun control. I want to ask you, if you're going to be the next DA, what are you going to do to help end the carnage, the gun violence in this country? So I'm not in a legislative position. I'm not creating policy, obviously, but I can take a firm stand on gun violent crimes. Those crimes are going to be prosecuted. People are going to be held accountable. We're going to do everything we can to stop firearms getting into the hands of felons and other people who shouldn't have them. Yeah, but so while I've never done this before in 20 years of radio. Usually I take a break, but I'm not going to do this. Mac Miller has just joined us in studio, and I'm going to swap chairs with him right now, live radio, so Mac could have a seat driving his, $300,000 car. I just saw it pull up. Mac, have a seat, my friend. Oh my have a seat. Have a seat. Thank you. I don't want to waste any time here. I don't want to take a break because it's always entertaining when you're in studio as well. And we're talking, of course, with Mr. Traffinger, who's running against Steve Wolfson. All right, so let's be honest. This is an uphill battle for you, right? You're a big underdog to win. I don't think I'm out of bounds by saying that. But we were talking a little bit off the air. You believe if people vote party lines, you have a pretty good opportunity. And it's not just party lines. I've been approached by independents. I've been approached by Democrats who supported Ozzie Fumo. There's a lot of negative stuff out there about Steve. This really could turn into a referendum on him rather than my name recognition. But I will say this. We did raise almost $40,000 in the last quarter. We outspent Steve substantially as far as advertising and in-kind stuff. I don't feel like he's taking the race seriously, and that could come back to bite him. It could. You're absolutely right. He's assuming that he's going to win, and you're right. It definitely could, but we'll find out. We're going to find out in a few days, right? Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so Mac Miller joining us in studio. Mac, what's up? You're looking sharp as always.
Well, thank you very much. I'm still campaigning. I'm a little late because I'm still campaigning. I'm out there trying to get our good people elected, and, it's not going to stop. I'll be campaigning until like the 10th or the 11th because, they let those ballots still come in after the 8th. He's a good guy. When you say good people, I agree. There are good people running for office that are Republicans. I also believe there are people running for office that are Republicans that are not good people. Some of the people that you're supporting. So I'm going to grill you right now. Okay. I'm going to ask you right now. Let's start with Adam Laxalt. Okay, so I know you're a smart guy. You're a successful businessman. You're a good family man. I know that about you. I've gotten a chance to know you. Adam Laxalt is an election denier. He said on the record that if he loses, he's going to contest the election, which is absurd. But yet if he wins, everything must be just fine. This is a guy who has brown-nosed Donald Trump from the get-go. 14 members of his own family refused to even vote for him. This is a guy who spreads election lies, who attacks Catherine Cortez 24/7, but doesn't seem to me has any solutions to any real problems. So let me start by asking you this. Why would you support somebody who is an election denier who does not live in reality? Because he doesn't. So let me start by addressing the statement you made before asking me the question. So every statement you made before asking me the question about Adam Laxalt also applies to the other side. So, Masto's an election denier? So Masto is brown-nosing with Biden and everybody else. The left does the same thing that the right does. I'm not here to argue about whether the left is right or the right is right or whatever. Here's what I want people to know, and I want them to answer the question. And the question is, how do you feel about abortion? right? Because that's what's really important.
Okay, but hold on.
Right? Well, wait, no. I let you speak, and you're going to let me speak. So if the question on everybody's mind is really abortion, because that's all the ads you hear. And as far as attacking Catherine Cortez Masto, I haven't seen anything positive come out of her administration for this state. As far as whether or not people care about, I don't know, the price of gas, the price of food and groceries and health care and their kids' education, I think those are important things. Right now, I can't hear one single Democrat commercial in the state of Nevada that talks about anything other than abortion, because that's really what we're worried about, right? Not crime, not the rising crime rate. By the way, I guess they got the Second Amendment under control because the last instance of crime and murder in this state have all been by knives for the last 3 months. So maybe we need some knife control. My thing is this. I do support Adam Laxalt, and I'm supporting Adam Laxalt for the same reason that the left would probably support Catherine Cortez Masto. One, his principles are the same principles as mine.
What are those principles?
And those principles are this. Number one, we need less government. Okay. Number two, in Nevada, we've got Democrats that run amok. Our state have been ruined after this so-called pandemic. And as far as an election denier, Republicans got that idea actually from Democrats, because Democrats were the first people to complain and say elections were rigged. They didn't like hanging chads. They didn't accept Bush. They didn't accept Trump.
Yes, they did. Al Gore conceded. What are you talking about?
No. Hillary Clinton started out the minute she lost and said he was
she conceded within 24 hours. What are you talking about?
Conceding and spending the next 3 or 4 years saying that the president was illegitimate is not the same.
Mac,
it is the same thing as being an election denier.
Mac, hold on. First of all, saying someone is illegitimate is saying they're not qualified to be president. That is very different than saying they didn't win the election.
Okay, well,
that.
You got Hillary Clinton on record saying Donald Trump stole the election.
She conceded the next day. What are you talking about?
Or not, she's on record saying that the election was stolen, that the election was rigged, and that the Republicans are trying to do it again.
Can you find me a Democrat running for office? Hold on. Can you find me a Democrat running for office right now that has said if they lose the election, they're going to contest it and they're going to call it fraud?
They don't have to say it because that's what they do.
Adam Laxalt is doing that. He said that on record. How can you support somebody like that?
Well, the Democrats have filed lawsuits in the past over elections.
Focus on Adam Laxalt.
Oh, no. Here, you want me to focus on the president without referencing the past.
You're backing Adam Laxalt. I'm talking to you about Adam Laxalt right now.
I'm definitely backing Adam Laxalt. But here's the thing. You want me to focus on the present, but you don't want to reference the past. And like I said,
what are you talking
the past
about?
is real simple. Look, you never had Republicans denying elections or saying someone was illegitimate. It came first from the Democrats. They started it. And yeah, this sounds like very childish.
Did they cause an insurrection? First. What are you talking about?
There was no such thing as an insurrection.
There was no such. January 6th wasn't an insurrection.
We're in January 6th now. Are you kidding me?
You just said there's no such thing as an insurrection.
That's not true. You started by saying, what about the insurrection? So I responded by saying there wasn't an insurrection.
Democrats caused that?
By the way, here's the deal. What we got right now is we got a guy that's sitting to my right, that's in studio right now.
I understand.
That is running for district attorney. That's Timothy Trevinger. I know Steve Wolfson, right?
Yes.
The problem I have is we need someone that has actually prosecuted a case, which Tim has, and we also need representatives that won't just represent one side of this state.
Mac, I voted for Tim. I know that.
Good.
Okay?
I
voted for Tim.
So
I'm not asking you about Tim.
Okay,
that's not my concern.
So
Tim's not my concern.
So here's the deal.
My concern is you're supporting, and you have the right to, but you're supporting candidates that are election deniers.
A whole list of candidates.
Well, but hold on.
I'm supporting Adam Laxalt and Mark Robertson. I'm supporting April Becker.
Mark Robertson. Oh my God.
I'm supporting Sam Peters. I'm supporting my former opponent Stavros Anthony.
Okay.
I'm
go
supporting
one by one.
Segal Chata.
Oh my.
I'm supporting Jim Marchant. I'm supporting Michelle Fiore.
Right, stop right there.
I'm supporting Andy Matthews.
Segal Chata.
I'm supporting.
Hold on.
Yes.
Who was running against a black man?
Yeah, the Jew that saved Christmas. That's what she's known as.
Segal Chata.
Someone that opened our places of worship while the current governor shut it down and thought that it was better to have a liquor store open than a church.
Let's go through this.
I'm supporting Segal
when an opponent says that they want, when Segal Chata says she wants her opponent hanging from a crane.
It's a phrase.
So you're okay with that?
And by the way,
you're okay with that language?
You know what? Are you kidding me? We've got Black Lives Matter and the left talking about killing cops and talking about
as a candidate saying they want to kill a cop.
She did not say
she said she wanted him hung from a crane.
She never said she wanted him hung from a crane.
I am asking you.
The statement was, and it's a
why can't you call it out for being wrong?
Here's the phrase.
You're okay with that phrase?
The phrase is you should be hanging from a crane. She didn't say she wanted to hang him from a crane, but it's a figure of speech.
So let me get this right.
And by the way, I still support her regardless because we have people that make statements left and right all the time,
which doesn't excuse it.
I had someone pat me on my head last night
it.
like I was their boy.
Doesn't excuse that either.
And I was not happy with that. So here's the deal.
Mac, let me ask you.
I support Segal Chata.
Mac.
And depending on how people take the statement, if they take it in a negative, that's all great. But we got a lot of snowflakes out there, and snowflakes are ruining our state.
Okay, Mac, hang on a second.
And you're sounding like one of them, Brian.
No, I'm not. I'm very fair. Mac, let me ask you a question. Mac,
go on.
Let me ask you a question. Without going into a diatribe, with all due respect, are you okay?
But we're good at that, Brian.
Well, I know, but I want to get I want to get Tim into this conversation too, but I need you to answer the question. It's a very simple one.
No, well, if it's a simple question, if it's a simple question, you answer the simple question. Don't preface it with a statement to make me
Well, I want you. It's a yes or no.
Okay,
it's a yes or no
Let's
answer.
make the question simple.
Are you okay with candidates running for office talking about their opponents, saying they should be hanging from a crane? Are you okay with that? Yes or no?
You know what? I guess I am, since I'm supporting.
You're okay with that? Okay. Well, I find that you're too smart and you're too good of a man to answer. That's despicable. That's shameful that you would answer. You know that's wrong, and you shouldn't answer the question that way.
Listen.
Let me ask Tim. Tim, are you okay? Tim will give me an honest answer. I voted for Tim. Tim, are you okay with any candidate? Notice how I'm not prefacing it with a Republican or a Democrat, saying that their opponent should be hanging from a crane. You're looking to be the next DA. Are you okay with that kind of language?
I think it's unnecessary language. I think a lot of the political attacks on both sides are unnecessary, but I don't think it needs to be taken that far. And I know she's couched it as saying she was referring to Hamas and things in the Middle East. And I understand that she was using it in a metaphorical way. Do I think it needed to be taken to that level? Probably not.
Probably not?
It did not need to be taken to that level.
That was the answer that I was looking for.
But I don't have
Mac.
a problem that it is. You're not going to get that answer from me. I'll tell you why.
Of course I'm not.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't have to give a political answer.
That's not a political answer. It's a decent human being answer.
No, that's a future DA answer. I can give an answer like a real person that's not afraid to get down and dirty and say that.
So
people
hang from
say,
a crane. You're okay with that language.
People say things.
Okay. Well,
people say things like curse words and everything else. I mean, look.
Saying a curse word and wanting your opponent to hang from a crane are two completely different things.
We've got things on the back of shirts and the back of pickup trucks and the back of cars that people wouldn't say in polite company. But First Amendment rights, you know what?
All right. We're going to take some calls. Mac Miller is okay with political figures saying they want their opponents hanging from a crane. We have that on the record. The number to call, 702-221-7283. Again, that number is 221-7283 if you want to be a part of the conversation. All right. Let's go to John. I believe John is first up here. John, how's it going? You're on with Mac Miller. Go right ahead.
Mac, what a clown you are, man.
Oh, am I?
You are the walking definition of Gish Gallop. Look it up on Wikipedia. Gish Gallop. That's all you got, pal. All you got is just talk fast and try to overwhelm Brian and throw as much crap against the wall. And what about us? And blah, blah, blah. What a clown, man. You are an absolute joke. I've never.
Hey, listen. You don't know what I love how you mentioned that I'm a clown. But what have you got? Give me something. Give me something that doesn't prove otherwise.
Okay, that's a fair question. Go ahead, John.
What kind of question is the dumbest question?
Well, let's talk about policy.
What do you want? My bank account? What do you want, Mac?
What do you support? I don't need your bank account. Who do you support and why?
I support reason and logic.
No. Who? Do you know what a who is? Do you know what a who is? Reason isn't a who.
So explain to me, John, why you agree with me that Adam Laxalt should not be in any office. Because Mac Miller is a supporter of Adam Laxalt, Segal Chata, Jim Marchand, who are all election deniers, and I would say all three of them are embarrassing to this state. But go ahead, John.
Hey, Mac, is Joe Biden the duly elected president of the United States?
Let me ask you this. Who do you support
Mac,
in
come on,
Nevada?
answer the question, Mac. Stop being such a clown.
Who do you support in this state? Do you support Catherine? Do you support Masto? Who do you support? Come on.
Matt,
let me ask you a question,
to be
Mac.
fair,
you called into the story. You called into the show. You called into the show.
Yes, he does support the show.
You already heard me say I support
you're a
him.
waste of time. Why do you give this guy any respect,
Listen,
Brian?
You're the one calling in. I'm on the show.
All right, but Mac, okay, thank you for the call, John. Mac, I think that's a very fair question that he asked you. So please.
But here's the deal.
Will you agree that Joe Biden is a free and fair elected president? It's a pretty fair question.
Would I agree?
No.
Well, he is now, isn't he?
That's not what I asked you.
He's sitting in office.
Not what I asked you.
He's sitting in office.
We know that. That's not the question.
I believe there was a lot of fraud in that last election.
That's not what I asked you.
And therefore, because it wasn't investigated like it should have been investigated and things were hidden, I disagree with his presidency.
So you don't think he's a free and fair elected president?
But you know what? Look, they had the same issue with Trump, right? So there were people that didn't agree with Trump being in office. So,
Richie Vegas on my social media just said, does Max smoke a lot of pot?
So, is that because I'm black? What is that?
I don't know. He's saying you sound like you're high. I mean, I don't know. All right, so you're not willing to admit that Joe Biden is a free and fair elected... Tim, help me out here. He's not willing to admit that Joe Biden is a free and fair elected president. He has no problem with language of, I want my opponent hanging from a crane. Now I understand why you're supporting Laxalt, Segal Chad, and Jim Marchant, because they probably agree with you. They have no problem. They're not willing to admit that Joe Biden is a free and fair elected president. The thing I will say to that, there is no evidence to support that there was overwhelming evidence to overturn fraud, to overturn the outcome of the election.
Here's the thing: when it comes to elections, when you file lawsuits, by the time they're determined, it's hard pressed to find a judge in this land that will overturn an election, regardless of what evidence they find.
Okay, but here's the thing:
no, that's just it.
Okay,
so there's been many lawsuits filed for candidates or against candidates, and a lot of them won. A lot of them have been found, regardless of what it is. I mean, and after an election, no judge wants to overturn anything.
I met your beautiful wife. I met one of your daughters. You have a beautiful family. I think you appear to be a good husband and a good father.
Thank you very much.
It shocks me to hear you say on this show, I don't know if you're being honest with me, that you are okay with a... Hold on, let me just finish the question.
First Amendment, I'm okay with
You're okay with a political...
whatever they want to say. And, unless she says I'm going to go out and hang someone, unless she says I'm going to
You don't think that can incite violence when someone says, I want my opponent hanging from a crane?
Those are weak people. Anytime, you know what? If someone,
how could you be okay with that?
Those are weak people, and those are the type of people
weak.
Weak, exactly. So if somebody else's words are going to get you to go jump off a bridge, then go do it. We don't need.
It's
you
not
anymore.
about jumping off a bridge. It's wrong. Can't you just say it's wrong?
Here's the deal. I'm not. First off, the antagonism in this is great. I love it because you're not going to get me.
I'm not trying to antagonize you. I just can't believe you're okay with that kind of language.
There are things that are wrong, but people have a right to say them. It's as simple as that. There are things that are wrong that people have a right to say.
I'm not saying they don't. Mac, hear me out.
Right.
I am not. The argument that I'm making is not that they don't have the right to say it. That's where
Good.
Hold on. Let me finish.
All right.
I am saying it's wrong what they are saying, just like Kyrie Irving and Kanye West. How could you not admit it's wrong?
I don't know what Irving and West
Why
said,
can't you admit what Segal Chada said was wrong? Why can't you?
Because I don't believe it. It may be wrong, but I don't believe so. So you can't get me to believe something I don't believe.
I'm shocked that you're okay with that type of discourse.
You can't get me to believe something if I don't believe it. Like I said, something could be wrong, but I'd say they have a right to say it.
I didn't say she didn't have a right.
And by the way, and you said it was wrong. There are things that you believe that are wrong that I don't believe are wrong.
I've never told somebody I think they should hang from a crane.
I've
never talked like that.
I didn't say you did, but you said
don't
you
compare me to
believe it's
Segal
wrong.
Chada. She's a despicable
believe
human
it's
being.
wrong. Everything you believe wrong, I might not believe is wrong.
But that's different. That's a political debate, policy conversation. I'm talking about inciting violence and wanting someone to be hanging from a crane.
That's not inciting violence. It's not inciting violence.
I want my opponent to hang from a crane?
Nobody was running out there hanging anybody. No one was running out there going to Ahern and getting his cranes and trying to hang anybody. Nobody was doing anything.
You can't admit that that's
real
wrong.
Simple.
That type of language is wrong.
To me, I have no problem with it. I have absolutely no
All right.
problem
Well,
with it.
I'm shocked.
I'm
quite
gonna stick
frankly,
with the
that
First Amendment
I'm
every
shocked.
day of the week.
I'm shocked to hear you say that. Okay, so we can move on, but I just can't not believe that you're okay with that type of political discourse and that type of language. I can't believe it.
Rights.
It's not about First Amendment. That pertains to the government. Your words have consequences. Why is it Republicans always make that argument? You understand that your First Amendment right and freedom of speech pertains to the government. It's not private business. You know that.
Yeah, privately, oh man, if I extended things privately,
can I ask you a question?
Say a lot worse.
All right, can I ask you a question?
Say a lot worse.
If somebody
because privately, if I were to say I'm going to kill someone, we know you're going to get in trouble.
If somebody in your business, if somebody in one of you're a successful businessman, you own a lot of businesses, you know what's good for your business.
No, I don't. I don't own a lot of businesses.
If somebody in one of your businesses, God forbid, started hurling out the N-word,
someone that I work with,
and started saying how much they hate black people, okay, Would you still employ that person?
But that's my profit if I want to. But
there
I'm
you
not
go.
Going to.
Ding, 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 ding. It's private business.
But that's just it.
Freedom of speech.
Again,
Freedom of speech.
But here's the deal: if they said that around me, then they don't like me. Why are they even working for me? You get it? So it's.
But
real
that's
simple.
not the argument.
But the argument here is this: look, if that person says it, matter of fact, I'd rather know if somebody hates ends, as you want to call it. I don't even know if we can say it on the radio. But
no,
I'd
please
rather,
don't. Please don't.
I would rather know.
You understand
than
my
someone
point.
Not. I understand your point, but I would rather know than not. Mm-hmm. And if someone did that around me in any place I was working with, then I don't want to work around them.
Okay, we're going to have to move on. I can't believe you support that type of language, but now I want to go back to Adam Laxalt again. You're supporting a candidate, regardless of what policies you might like.
So let me ask you this. What's great about Catherine Cortez Masto?
Okay, good question. I'll gladly answer that question for you. First of all, she believes in the woman's right to choose.
Okay.
If Adam Laxalt, I know you think that's funny.
Go on. No,
but
no. Is that all you got?
Has any woman in your
sounds like? It sounds like that's all you've got.
You interrupted me. You didn't let me finish. By the way, have you had any woman in your life that's ever had an abortion?
Me?
Yeah.
In my life?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Okay, just for the record, I just want to get that out there. Okay. So that wasn't my only thing, but that is an important issue.
My wife wanted to abort my last daughter.
Okay, understood. That's a personal thing. Okay, I'm glad she is. But I would never take that right away from you. Adam Laxalt.
No, that wouldn't be taking a right.
Hey, you asked me a question.
That's not taking a right. That is not taking a right away. First off, it's codified in Nevada.
So you don't want the government...
It's codified in Nevada that you can have an abortion.
It's not in the Constitution.
It's codified in Nevada.
It's not in the Constitution.
It's codified in Nevada that you can have an abortion in this state.
Mac, here's the point I'm trying to make.
Nevada.
You asked me about Catherine Cortez Masto. If Adam Laxalt had his way, and if most Republicans had their way in this country, abortion would be illegal across the board. That is a fact. That is not an opinion. And Adam Laxalt is on the record as saying that. That's number one. I believe in a woman's right to choose.
So do I.
That's number one. Number two, tax breaks for the rich.
And listen, tax break. Look, I'm going to tell you something. S rolls downhill. Nothing good ever comes up. Here's how this works. It's real simple. Whenever you go down to the voting booth and you tax the heck out of, what do they like to say, the 1%ers, right? And most people don't know that it takes $250,000 for you to be considered in the top 1% income earners in this country. Mm-hmm. So most people who hear that rhetoric of we're only going to tax the 1%ers, they go down there and they say, well, I'm not a 1%er, and they vote for the tax. Now, here's where it hurts. It actually hurts the lower class. It hurts people that don't make that much money.
Giving tax breaks for the rich hurts the poor people?
No.
What?
No. Taxing 1%ers, as everybody likes to call it.
You're asking me. That's people. Another policy that I agree with. I disagree with you.
As for giving tax breaks to the rich, it's not giving tax breaks to the rich. It's giving tax breaks to anybody that can read the code or have an accountant.
Number three.
Go on.
Okay. If Catherine Cortez loses this election, she's not going to lie and say that she won in a landslide and contest it.
You don't know that yet,
okay,
do you?
Well, we'll see if that happens.
Well, okay, good.
Adam Laxalt is on the record saying that if he loses, he's going to call fraud and call BS and contest. But if he wins, everything is going to be just fine because he is full of crap. That's number three.
Again,
I'm not done yet.
He has the right to say what he wants to say. Go on. What's number four?
I never said he doesn't have the right to
What's
say.
Number four?
I don't know why you keep saying that. Number four, okay, I talked about abortion. I talked about tax breaks. Let's talk about health care.
Okay.
Adam Laxalt is another one of those nutty Republicans that wants to take, just like Mike Lee, that wants to take Social Security away. He has alluded to that.
No Republican in this country.
Not true. Mike Lee, what are you talking about? Mike Lee is on the record.
No one's going to do anything with your Social Security.
Okay, well, I take them for their word when they say they are. And I could name you a dozen Republicans right now.
You got Adam Laxalt on the record saying he wants to do away with Social Security?
He wants to drip it down. Those are the words that he used.
Do you have him on record saying he wants to do away with Social Security?
When he said he wants to drip down, and I forgot the actual term that he used. Yes, I do. Okay, that's number four. Catherine Cortez wants to protect that. Adam Laxalt and many Republicans like you want to complain about Obamacare, yet you have no replacement plan
for it. First off, here's the deal. We have Medicare and Medicaid, okay? I love how they have this whole
not for long if Republicans take office.
Pre-existing medical thing here. It's great. I get it. People need health care. But here's the thing. If I was driving a car down the street with no insurance, got in an accident, and then the next day decided to get insurance, the insurance company is going to say, I'm sorry, your accident was before you got the insurance. This is why insurance companies pulled out of entire regions and states, because they looked and they saw where the highest instances of certain ailments were, like cancer in the southern states. And when they backed out, they had less choice in health insurance companies, because the health insurance company says, you know what, we're going to cover these pre-existing conditions, and it's going to cost them absolute grip a lot of money, and they had a private business. And they have a right not to do business in certain regions. And that hurt black people and brown people in the South and everywhere else. And it just does. Yeah. So I don't get it. Regardless of what people think.
I can name you more if you want.
Regardless of what people think. Okay, what we have to get away from is it's a Democrat and a Republican thing.
A lot of issues are.
That part we need to get away from.
Let's talk about gun control.
I'll tell you what we need to, wait a minute, and I'll tell you what we really need to get away from. We really need to get away from the media putting their finger through everybody's noses and pulling them one way versus the other, whether the information is
okay. Well, I'm talking policy. I'm going to give you another one. Gun control. What is Adam Laxalt's? Since you're supporting him, what are some of his solutions that he think will end all the gun carnage and gun violence in this country? Tell me what his solutions are.
When it comes to the Second Amendment and Adam Laxalt, I'm not sure on his total policy.
Okay, well, I am. I'm shocked you're not, but I am.
I want to hear
he thinks more guns are the answer.
I have heard that. Okay, I agree with that. No,
okay, well, that's absurd.
Okay, if that's policy, then all right.
Catherine Cortez.
I thought you were talking about something he had written.
No,
I do believe that more guns is. Listen,
okay, well, that's absurd.
The Japanese never landed on our soil because they believed that there'd be.
Why do we have so much gun violence in this country?
Because where is the gun violence though? Tell me where it is.
Everywhere.
Yes, but where's the majority of it?
Right in our backyard.
A majority of the gun violence is in the communities that have the strictest gun laws.
That's not entirely true. No,
that's not. It's not entirely
true.
That is not entirely true. To it,
okay, then why do we have the biggest mass shooting in our backyard?
Is there some truth to that then?
There are some counties where there are certain, but here's the problem with what you're saying.
Okay.
Red flag laws are not on the books. We don't have an assault weapons ban.
So you agree that somebody could just walk up to your house and take your weapons away from you without due process, without a trial, without any of that?
Okay, so that you're totally mischaracterizing how I feel about red flag laws.
Okay, I'm wondering because that's what red flag laws do.
You're mischaracterizing it, and that is an extreme case.
Okay.
I believe that it is a
case. So what scenario?
I believe. Well, I went down the list. First hour.
No, I'm talking.
I'll go down the list with you on gun control. What I think would help an assault weapons ban. When an assault weapons ban was put in place, gun violence went down. When it expired, people expired because Republicans allowed it to expire. Well, you can laugh, but
I'm laughing because look, we're not talking about putting bans on knives and this stuff.
We're not talking about knives. When was the last mass knife murder?
We're not talking about people putting bans on hammers. You know,
that's
with the speaker
ridiculous.
Of the house. But here's the deal: the gun problem.
How could you compare a knife to an AR-15?
I compare knives and guns and everything. I'm not comparing it.
Yes, you are.
It's just that for some reason taking away our rights to our Second Amendment and having our guns is not going to solve
the Second Amendment was put in place when they had muskets.
Doesn't matter.
It kind of does.
There. Nope.
Okay, so you don't know any policies that Adam Laxalt are going to put in place to help end the gun violence in this country.
He's not going to put anything in place himself.
Right. There's the
problem.
He's
not going to put anything in place himself.
You're right.
Because you need Congress for that.
Yeah.
You need more representatives that can do it.
As
long as we have more Republicans in there, we actually can get some things done.
Okay, what have Republicans done to pass gun laws in this country? What have they done in the last 30 years? Since you think Republicans do such a wonderful job?
Well, here's the deal.
Yeah, what have they done? Tell me.
We have the Second Amendment. We didn't think we needed anything else.
So because we
had the Second Amendment.
So why can't...
It wasn't until the last 5 or 6 years
that
we actually realized that the Constitution might actually be in jeopardy. So anything in the Constitution, we believed... Well, we're good. It's there.
So you don't think anything should happen when it comes to gun control in this country? Just let people keep shooting people.
Wrong. I believe that people should be trained to use their weapons.
That's not Adam Laxalt's policy.
I believe people should be trained to use their weapons.
Okay, I agree.
I don't. Obviously, we've had this conversation before. I don't think we need to have anybody rolling through with a tank. Okay, but when it comes to your AR-15s,
yes,
all right, or AR-16s, as Biden like to call them, I don't have a problem with it. Okay, none whatsoever.
So do you believe an 18-year-old should be allowed to buy as many assault weapons as they want to the day they turn 18?
Can an 18-year-old join the Army?
You know the difference, sir?
What's
I made this point
training?
The first time.
Training?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I just said training. So if you're going to buy weapons, be trained.
So you agree that there should be training put in place?
Of course I do.
Okay, guess what, Mac?
I do. I have no problem
So guess
with
what,
that.
Mac? Sigel Chatta, Adam Laxalt, and Jim Marchant do not agree with what you're saying.
That's fine, but that's what?
You're still supporting
I'm not going to agree with everything anybody says or disagree with everything.
Name me Republicans
says.
out there in this state that think that training should happen when it comes to guns.
I know many. I
haven't heard one.
Whether they want to make it on the record or not.
Ask Tim. Poor Tim is sitting there listening to this debate.
I'm very much enjoying myself, guys. You can keep going.
Whether they want to put it on record or not, there are.
And I am for training. I will say that.
Well, good. We have some common ground. Me and Mac Miller have some common ground. That's good.
I mean, the one thing with the assault weapon ban and the mass shootings is assault weapons, at least in the statistics I've seen, are used in less than 25% of them. I mean, there are plenty of damage done by handguns. There's plenty of damage done by shotguns. I think it was 130 to 56. So it's not going to solve all the problems. Training's a big thing. You should know how to use your guns. Don't get me wrong. If I was responding to an active shooter, would I prefer to see a handgun or a rifle? I'd probably prefer to see a handgun just from training that I've had. But I don't know that it solves the problem.
I think there are a lot of things that we can do to help lower the mass carnage in this country. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. We got Mac Miller in studio. Very lively debate, as always, when he comes in the studio. And Timothy Treffinger, who's running for DA, running against Steve Wolfson. We'll take a quick break. We'll take some calls if you'd like. 702-221-7283. Maybe those who think Mac Miller's a clown. Maybe those that think I'm a clown. It's fine. Number to call, 702-221-7283. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Look, it's impossible for the average person to find a great attorney out there. There's so much misinformation. Now, let me introduce you to former Chief Deputy District Attorney Thomas Moskal. He was Las Vegas's top DUI prosecutor for years. He prosecuted the most high-profile DUI cases in Clark County. No one knows more about DUI law in Nevada. Just Google it. If you get charged with DUI, whether it's a misdemeanor or even more importantly, a felony, you need Thomas Moskal representing you. His relationships with the prosecutors and judges and his knowledge of DUI law to work for you. So give him a call now or text him at 702-848-5555. It's your life and liberty that's at stake. Don't wait. Call now. That number again, 702-848-5555. Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement, and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Best of Las Vegas winners each of the last 2 years. Glazed Donuts is a family business. Taste the passion and quality in each delectable handmade donut. Experience amazing fresh donuts at Glazed Donuts, located at 6545 South Fort Apache Road on the southwest corner of Sunset. Glaze is open every day from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you're interested in large orders, please call them at 702-246-2888. Follow Glaze on Facebook and Instagram, where they're showing off all their delicious treats. And check them out at glazedonutslv.com.
All right, it's the return of the Mac. Welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits right here. We got Tim Treffinger in studio as well. He's running for DA here at Clark County against Steve Wolfson, who I'm not a fan of. I'm also not a fan of politicians that say they want to hang their political rivals on a crane, but apparently we learned Mac Miller's okay with that. But that's okay. That's all right. We can all... It's freedom of speech, right, Mac? It's freedom of speech. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Tim, yeah, there's a question I didn't ask you. Apparently, I didn't know this about Mac. He doesn't believe that Joe Biden is a free and fair elected president. What is your thoughts on that?
I'm not contesting the results of that election at this point. He's been in the White House for 2 years. I'm not going to sit here and call him illegitimate. I'm not going to do the things a lot of people do to spark controversy. I'm more of a straight shooter.
Why is it that you think that? So you're saying Mac's not a straight shooter?
I didn't say that.
Why is it, though, that so many Republicans out there like Mac, like more than half Republicans, do not believe that Joe Biden is a duly elected president, free and fair elected? Why is that?
I can't speak to that. Everybody's got their own opinion. I'm not.
When you're the district attorney, it's about evidence, right?
Correct.
When it comes to cases, it's very serious, right? When it comes to elections, it's also about evidence. When it comes to election fraud, it's about evidence. Now, there have been some Republicans in this state that have been charged with election fraud. Why is it that there are so many?
Not me. Why are you looking
Not
at me?
you. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at Tim. But when there's no evidence, like literally no evidence been put forth by Trump's own attorneys, by anybody, the MyPillow guy claims he has it. We haven't seen it. This would have been the biggest crime in the history of this country, arguably, if the election was stolen, right? So why is it that Republicans want to go to felon Dinesh D'Souza and the MyPillow idiot for answers? Why is it those are the two go-to people when it comes to what could have been the biggest crime in the history of this country?
And again, I don't know. I agree with you. It should be evidence-based. I will say Segal has gone on record and said, look, if I saw evidence of fraud, I'd be out there saying it was fraudulent. Even she's accepted that.
Yep.
And I'm in the same way. If there was evidence put before a judge and a ruling came down saying it was illegitimate, I'd be sitting here saying it's illegitimate. That didn't happen. The Kraken that was supposed to be released, I never saw it. And maybe that's part of the frustration is people were promised things that they never ultimately got to see. And maybe there is evidence out there that we don't know about. But I can only speak to what's out there, and I haven't seen it.
I understand that. But whenever I bring this up, a lot, not you, but a lot of Republicans like Mac want to bring up Hillary Clinton. And, Hillary Clinton's election denier as well. Hillary Clinton never said she won in a landslide. She never held rallies. She never filed 60 lawsuits, Mac. She never called secretaries of state demanding to find votes. There is no comparison. There is no comparison or fair analogy between Hillary Clinton and Democrats and what Donald Trump has done to this country over the course of the last couple of years. Why won't you admit that?
Because it's not true.
Okay, so tell me, what has Hillary
It's not
Clinton
true.
done that
it's not true? Listen, we can argue over how many lawsuits were filed. We can even argue.
There's
over
really
who
no
filed-
argument.
We can even
There's
argue
facts.
over. We can even argue over who filed them because Donald Trump didn't file all of those lawsuits.
Oh, so that wasn't to his.
Wait a minute. Whether it was to his benefit ultimately or not, he wasn't the one that filed all those.
I'm
lawsuits.
sure he didn't want those lawsuits.
Those lawsuits were filed in various states across the country, not by the Trump administration or not by Trump himself or his business either. As far as the statements, yes, I do reference the past. I mean, I can't reference the future.
What?
It hasn't happened
Tell me
yet.
what.
I mean,
What in the
real
past
simple.
equates to January 6th?
We're not talking about January 6th.
Oh, I know you don't want to talk about it.
We're not talking about January 6th. You brought the subject up
because
of
the election
Hillary
line,
Clinton
not
being
Tell
a
me,
denier.
what did she do?
To this day,
What did
she
she do?
still states, "Oh, it was rigged. They're going to steal the election." She just said
She didn't say that she
just said
lost.
She just said a week ago, they're going to steal the election. I'm thinking, okay, that's great. The left can say they're going to steal the election, or the left can say that the election
do you
was
know
stolen. But
the
if the
context
right
of why
says
she said that?
The right is.
Do you understand the
incorrect.
context
It
of that?
doesn't really matter, right? Because
Context
I guess,
doesn't matter.
Well, I guess it does because here's the deal: if context matters so much, we're back on the whole Segal Chata thing. Okay, so
what was the context when Segal Chata said she wanted her
it's
opponent
simple.
hanging from a crane?
Again, she didn't say she wanted her opponent in particular, but
Oh.
it was a saying.
She didn't.
And
Okay.
like you said, in the context, right? So what was the context of which Hillary said what she said?
Sure. The comments she made last week, it wasn't saying that she believed that Republicans were rigging the election. What she was saying was that there are certain secretaries of state.
Isn't that exactly
and there
what she said?
No, there are people like Carrie Lake out there that if Republicans lose, they're going to lie and they're going to contest and they're going to attack democracy. She calls it like what Barack Obama called it, an attack on our democracy. Because
attack on
many
our
Republicans
democracy.
like yourself, with all due respect, are delusional and are not willing to admit that Trump lost the 2020 election. It's either one of two things.
Of course, look, I've admitted that he lost. I just don't admit that he lost fairly.
According to what evidence? Where is your evidence
you can
to prove
It's
that?
like a bad call in a sports team. It's like a team could lose.
No, it's not.
But if the ref makes a bad call, it
What
could
is
be
your
because of
evidence?
that, not because of the game.
When we see a ref made a bad, that's a terrible analogy, and I'll explain why.
Well,
when we go back, hold on.
I know nothing about
hold on.
sports, so-
Okay, well, when we go back and look at a game, there's actual evidence to prove that a ref got a call wrong. You have people analyzing video, and we can go back. That has nothing to do with what happened in 2020. They've gone back, Mac.
Something tells me it's happened
Mac,
before, right?
there is no widespread voter fraud. There's no evidence to prove that there was enough fraud to overturn the election. Why won't you admit that?
Well, because number one, you can never say no. No one's got 100%.
It's been proven.
No, you can't. Nothing's 100%.
What do you mean nothing's 100%? You have to have evidence to make a statement like that.
Nothing's 100%.
You have to have evidence to make a statement that you don't believe Joe Biden is a duly elected president. Where is your evidence?
Nothing is 100%.
So you don't have any evidence.
The evidence is it's fact. Look,
what's fact?
When you're talking civil, when you're talking criminal, you talk preponderance of evidence. You talk within a reasonable doubt. And in this case, look, we cannot say. No one can say that there was no fraud. I tell you what we can say.
Oh my
okay,
God.
there's accidents. How about that,
Mac? I
How about
can't
there's
believe I have
accidents?
to explain this to you because you know this.
We can't.
There is
we
a
can't-
big difference between saying there is fraud and saying that there is widespread fraud that could overturn an election. How is it that you don't understand that?
Listen, I do understand that.
Well, clearly you don't.
But you like to use in 100%. You use statements like no and it
Trump
didn't
didn't
happen,
win.
and it didn't
I didn't say there wasn't
That part-
fraud.
hold on.
Trump
That part-
didn't win.
Listen, Trump didn't win. I've never said he did.
But you're not willing to admit that Joe Biden
I'm
is a
saying-
free and fair
I'm saying
elected
Trump-
president.
I'm saying Trump didn't win, but I'm saying why didn't Trump win? And
Because
what
Biden
was
got
there?
more votes. That's why.
How did Biden?
He
get
won
more
the
votes?
Electoral College.
How did Biden get more votes?
How? Because people voted and he got millions of more votes. By the way, just like
He got more votes than Obama.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can't
You don't-
believe
you
that
don't
one.
buy it. Okay,
No,
so if you
I
don't-
don't even like Obama that much, but I don't
Right.
think that he was more popular than Obama.
So when you make an opinion like that, you have to have facts to back up an opinion. Where are your facts that would prove that millions and millions of votes were fraudulent? By the way, isn't it amazing that only Democrats can cheat? Republicans can't cheat at all. I
didn't
find that
say
very
that.
interesting.
No. Wrong.
Oh, okay.
I
Just
said
checking.
Republicans got the idea from Democrats.
Okay. Interesting that it's interesting when Trump won in 2016. I didn't hear people like Mac complaining about voter fraud, but then when Trump
Again,
loses,
it's the same thing on the other side. No one look. Had Hillary
It's not the same.
had Hillary won, we wouldn't even be talking about Russians as much as we do now.
if Hillary won, we would have dealt with another insurrection in 2016 because Trump, before the 2016 election, was talking about rigged elections and how elections are fraudulent. And then when he won, Mac, for the next 3 years, we didn't hear a peep from Republicans. That's
well,
why.
you wouldn't, and you wouldn't.
Right.
Look, if someone
because it
would-
can only be
you
fraud
would-
if a
you would-
Republican
you
loses,
would-
right?
I disagree
That makes
with
sense.
You. I disagree with you. I totally disagree with you.
It can only be fraud if a Republican
I
wins.
totally disagree with you.
Republican loses.
It's real simple. It's real simple. I just state that there can be fraud regardless, and we need to do more things like identification at the polls.
Why weren't you talking about
We
this
need
in
to-
2016?
Why wasn't I? I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
talking about any of this in 2016.
Why is that? Could it be because Trump
I wasn't
won?
on the radio in 2016.
Could it be because Donald?
I wasn't on the radio.
Why
in
wasn't Donald
2016.
Trump talking
I
about this
was-
after he won?
I don't know because I'm
You
not
don't
in
know.
his head.
I
I'm
see.
not in his
Why
head.
wasn't Adam
I'm not
Laxalt
in his
talking
head.
about election
I'm not in
integrity
his head.
after
you
Trump
ask
won?
me questions of things that I can't possibly know the answer
No, I
to.
think you know the answer because he's full of crap, just
Is
like
it-
all these
is it-
other
is it be-
Republicans.
I-
They're full of crap. They lose an election and it's fraud, but if they win, that was totally legitimate.
I've lost elections.
Because
I've never called fraud.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Adam Laxalts of the world, the Segal Chattas of the world, the Jim Marchands, the Donald Trumps who lie. If they lose an election, it's fraud, but if they win, everything's
And it's the
just
same
fine and
thing on
dandy.
the other side.
No, it's not.
Lawsuits
That's garbage.
were filed. We
What
we
lawsuits?
go back 20 years. We go back to Bush. We go back to hanging Chad. We go back to
That was
Florida.
within a couple hundred votes.
Oh, Florida.
Okay.
Listen,
You wanna talk
we
about
have the
Florida?
same thing over and over and over.
You want to talk about
And-
Florida? No,
and
we didn't.
We have the same
No, we
thing
didn't.
on both sides.
No, we didn't.
And I don't know why people
we
can't
didn't.
understand that.
No, we didn't.
They think that one side. Listen,
You're wrong.
This,
No, we didn't.
This
Al
country
Gore
and this-
conceded.
This is listen. Concede or no concede, there were lawsuits, were there not?
Because they were within a couple hundred
Were there-
votes. How
were
could
there
you compare
lawsuits?
that to the 2020
it was not
election?
within a couple hundred votes.
Okay, so how many votes was
But
that?
it doesn't even matter.
How many
it
votes?
doesn't even matter because all we're
It
arguing
kinda
is
does.
whether or not the
It
left
kinda
or
does.
the right argues or files lawsuits or states that someone
Al
didn't
Gore,
win legitimately.
Okay, so first of all,
So
Al
it
Gore
doesn't really
conceded.
matter.
To this day, Donald Trump refuses to concede.
So what? There's nothing that says you have to concede or you do. It doesn't really matter in that regard.
It doesn't matter. Tell that to the people that were the officers that were injured on January 6th.
It doesn't matter if you concede or not. I mean, my goodness sakes, I've lost races and didn't concede. I've lost races and I did. One of the reasons I didn't concede is candidates. I didn't even know the guy's number. But
So lie and say there's voter fraud when it's not there.
That's not what I'm stating.
Okay.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Well, that's
I'm
what
saying
they're
that
doing.
I'm saying that it doesn't matter if you concede or you don't concede.
well, I think it does.
It's not like if you don't concede, all of a sudden the other person won't be sworn in
Well,
because
here's why
the
I
last
disagree.
guy didn't
Mac,
concede. Because when
Mac, here's why I disagree with you, Mac. Hold on. Let me just explain why I disagree with you. Here's why I think it's important to concede. Because it's about human decency. It's about doing the right thing. You don't like your results. That's fine. You shouldn't like losing. But to stand there and say, I didn't lose, this is fraudulent, that election was stolen, or in this case, the people who you support, like Jim Marsart and Adam Laxalt, who say, if I lose the election, I'm going to contest, even though they have no
that's
evidence.
their right.
I didn't say it wasn't their
Okay,
right.
good. Just making
what I'm
sure.
saying
Just
was
making sure.
it is an
Just
embarrassment
making
when
sure.
you have no real evidence, but then if you win, everything's just fine.
Listen.
How could you be okay
Listen,
with that?
I love how you say I didn't. You agree that all the things that are being done are these people's individual rights to do so. Okay, so I always argue a person's right to do so. I will not argue their right to commit a crime. I will not argue their right to commit an offense against
How
someone
about
else.
fake electorates?
But
Is
I
that
will,
a crime?
But I will. Of course, it would be a crime.
Okay. Well, some people
Of
have done
course it
that in
would
this
be a
country
crime.
that
Listen,
are Republicans.
Again, of course, and there's been some people that did some things in the election world that were Democrats.
What Democrats
There were
did fake
Democrats.
electorates?
There were Democrats that were stuff
Name me
about.
them.
There were Democrats that were giving identification out to
What
other
Democrats
people.
had a scheme,
when
a
it comes
Ponzi
to
scheme
when
for
it comes
fake
to
electorates?
when it comes to elections, there have been people charged and prosecuted on both sides. So let's not go there.
What
The fact-
Democrats
the
have
fact of
been
the matter
charged
is,
with
the fact of the
election
the
fraud?
fact of the matter is, it has happened. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here live on air and pause because we can't have dead air and do a bunch of research. I don't have a producer that can do the research
Some
for
people
me.
might prefer
I
that,
can't.
but-
Well, I can't. I don't have a producer that can do the research for me.
Okay.
That's the one thing about being live. Now another
Mac,
thing.
how could you
another
compare
people,
this election fraud nonsense, Republicans to Democrats? How can you say, "Oh, this happens on both sides"? You know
It
that.
does.
Oh, come
Because
on.
it does.
We have a former president that's still not willing to concede. You know why?
And you don't
January-
have. And again, I don't see anywhere
I know
where it
you don't
says
have
you gotta
to.
concede.
Right. I know.
I
You
don't see
have to
anywhere
do it.
where it says you
Right.
have to concede.
Right.
There's nowhere out there where it says, "Oh, this is what you listen." We can be honorable. We can be moral.
think Donald
we can
Trump
be
is
immoral.
honorable?
We can. I don't think anybody's too honorable. To tell you the truth, it's politics, and I don't think too many people in politics, including myself, can be
Well,
honorable. at all
apparently saying, "I want that person to hang from a crane." I guess that's
So-
honorable. You're voting for that
no,
person.
I didn't say that was honorable. And
Yeah.
by the way, I don't agree with 100% anybody says. I don't agree with 100% my mother does. I don't agree with 100% my wife does.
So?
Here's the deal. So I'm definitely not going to agree with 100% of the politician does. It's not even in my family. But I can still support them regardless.
Okay.
As
Well,
simple as that.
I don't agree with every single politician that I voted for the other day. Like Tim, I don't agree with everything that he stands for.
There
But
we go.
But here's the difference, Mac.
There we go.
But Mac, here's the difference. Tim would never say he wants Steve Wolfson hanging from a crane. Tim would never say, if I lose the election, I'm going to contest it. Because Tim is a decent human being.
Okay.
You're voting for people that are despicable people.
So for the lack of use of a better word, I'm just supposed to not vote for them because you say I shouldn't? Because I'm going to vote for them. No, I'm sorry. I already voted for them for that matter.
First of all, you can vote
I can't take it back.
You can vote for whoever you want to vote for.
And you know
don't
why?
have to listen
But you know
to me.
why I can do that?
I just think
Do you know why I can do that?
Well, that's democracy.
Because
something
it's
that many
my
of your
right.
that's democracy. And the people that you're voting for are attacking our democracy.
I disagree with you.
Jim Marchant's not attacking our democracy.
I disagree with you.
Really?
I disagree. Again, Brian, we can have a cigar, we can have a cocktail, and there are certain things that we can agree on. When it comes to politics, it's far and few in between of what we do agree on, but that's America.
Well, I believe you say things that you don't believe. I'm going to be honest with you right now.
I
I believe you say things because you're a showman and you don't believe a lot of the things you say. I'm telling you, I think I know you pretty well. I like you. I think you're a good guy. But I think when you get in front of a microphone and you actually say things that you don't believe, I know you don't like some of the candidates that you're voting for personally. I know you don't like them.
Hold on. No. There's only one.
Adam Laxalt's a great guy.
No. There's only one candidate, literally.
Yeah.
That I voted for, and I'm not going to name names.
Why not?
It's not at the top of the ticket.
Tim Treffinger.
He probably doesn't like.
Can
me.
you just admit? Can you just admit Adam Laxalt is a scumbag? Can you just admit that?
Look, I'm literally looking at a slate card right now. There's only one person on this list that I don't particularly care for, but I did vote for that person.
You think Adam Laxalt's a good guy?
But it wasn't anyone at the top of any tickets, and now everybody's going to be asking me for the next 4 days.
Can you just admit that Jim Marchand?
Who is it?
Can you just admit that Jim Marchand has an IQ of like 25?
I have
Can you just
no
admit
clue.
that?
I have no
He's
clue.
an idiot. Can you just say that? Can you just repeat after me? Adam Laxalt is an idiot. Can you just admit that?
Absolutely not.
He's an idiot.
Absolutely. What about Sisolak? What do we got?
What
for
about
Sisolak?
Sisolak?
You got anything on Sisolak?
He's not an election denier. He's not. You're laughing. It's true.
I'm not saying
he's not saying he's going to contest the election if he loses.
I'm saying what can we see in re-electing Sisolak
over
Joe Lombardo that'll be better?
Well, I started with the abortion issue, which I believe to be very important. I also will also say gun control issues. Sisolak's very passionate when it comes to gun control and putting things, passing it through legislation.
Okay.
Same thing with the abortion issue. I have my feelings.
So it's the same thing. I mean, but they believe that there's only one thing that we should be caring about, and that's abortion.
I've named.
From what I hear,
what are you talking
from
about?
the millions and millions
I've
and
named
millions of
10
dollars.
different
No,
things.
you have, but to hear the millions of dollars that's being spent in Nevada alone. And if you're driving down the street, listen to a commercial, if you're sitting at home watching television, you think that the only thing that was important to a Nevadan is abortion. And it's just not.
Did I say that was the only issue?
I didn't say you.
Okay.
When I say you think, that's just the average Joe listening in their car.
Here's
They think,
my opinion.
God, I guess the only thing we should care about is abortion in this state. Because
well-
that's the only thing every Democrat is crying on is saying, oh, the woman's right to choose. Oh, abortion. Oh, abortion.
And Republicans
I just
don't do that?
Get it.
Hunter Biden's laptop.
I just don't get it.
Republicans don't do that?
In Nevada. I'm talking about Nevada.
Yeah.
All right? I'm not talking about San Francisco, California.
Well, let me
I'm
tell
not
you
talking
why I
about
think
New
it's a
York,
very
New
important
York.
issue.
I'm talking about Nevada.
I'll tell
I
you
think
why
that look, it is an important issue, but there are other important issues that also need to be addressed. And for some reason, the Democrats don't think you need to hear about them.
That's not true. They talk about those issues that I brought up all the time.
I'm not
That's
hearing.
not true.
They talk about them when it doesn't cost them money, but when it costs them money, they got to hit on. They got to hit on just the abortion.
Okay.
Hey, if I'm going to spend my money telling the people what they should do or what they shouldn't do, I'm going to spend it on telling them
here's
that
my
abortion.
opinion.
I'm going to keep abortion.
The abortion issue to me
Look,
is. Hold on.
Someone's
Just give me-
raped.
give me-
Abortion.
Hold on.
That's fine. If it's incest, it's fine.
not fine.
There's a lot of things. Not fine for somebody to be raped. Don't even go there.
It's not
Don't
fine
go
what
there.
Republicans-
But
how
my point
Republicans
is-
feel
my
about
point is
that.
we need to hear more about why can't the governor just get rid of our tax on fuel? It's not a lot, but it'll help. There are things that the governor can do just in this state that'll help people in this state.
So we're running out of time. We're running out of time, but I do want to say this. Never in a million years would I ever wish Mac Miller would be hanging from a crane. Tim, I'll say the
That'd
same
be
thing
real
about
bad if
you.
you said that.
Tim,
I'm black.
Tim, I appreciate the fact that you're willing to accept the election outcome. Unlike Adam Laxalt and Jim Marchand, you're willing to accept it and be a man about it. I also appreciate the fact, Tim, that you're not an election denier and you're willing to admit based on evidence that Joe Biden is a free and fair elected president. I voted for several Republicans, by the way, the other day, Tim being one of them, because he is a reasonable Republican. There are too many people running for office, particularly on the right, that are not reasonable, particularly those who are not willing to accept an outcome of an election before the election's even out there, and particularly those people that, in my personal opinion, say things that are beneath any office in this country. That is the way I vote. I don't vote on party lines, even though a lot of the issues that I am passionate about, Republicans do not agree with me on. That's just the way I am. It's always fun having Mac Miller in studio, and Tim isn't, just sitting here just listening to this. But Tim, give out your information. How can people get involved and they want to learn a bit more about you?
We got a couple days left before voting. You can go to Treffinger, the number 4, Nevada. That's TREFF as in Frank, INGER, since no one can pronounce or spell my last name. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Those are both also Treffinger for Nevada.
Do you need some Tylenol, Tim?
Hey, this is one of the only guys got endorsed by both Republicans and Democrats.
Well,
so
that's
I got to
a good
say,
thing.
that's a really good thing.
Well, I am not a Steve Wolfson fan, and I do not support him. I've been very clear on that. I don't vote party lines. Mac, did you vote for one Democrat?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
How many? How many Democrats?
Probably about 2.
Okay. Hey, I'm surprised to hear that. Can you name who those Democrats are?
No.
Why not?
Nope, not going to do it. Not going to do
So
it.
you voted for Catherine
Not
Cortez
gonna
Masto
do-
and Steve Wolfson. Mac, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Tim, pleasure to have you here as well. I wish you the best of luck in the elections. I think you're a good guy, and again, that's why I voted for you. All right, thanks for being here, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great weekend. I got to take some time now. We'll take the weekend off. We'll see you on Monday.